Okay.
Yeah, you have a page?
We're in Hilchos Megillah.
Yeah, okay. Seder, Tfilas, Purim, and it starts off after Kriyas HaMegillah, so we've... Okay.
After Kriyas HaMegillah, Arabic, after the reading of the Megillah at night time, Omer Be'ato Kadosh. So that the prayer of Be'ato Kadosh.
Do you recognize that Kadosh? How's it go?
Be'ato Kadosh is
It leaves it Kedusha to Sidra. We say it on Motzi Shabbos. We say it every day, and towards the end of davening. But it's what's called Kedusha to Sidra. Okay. Go on. Yeah.
Im Chal b'Motzei Shabbos. If it falls out of Motzei Shabbos, if Purim falls out of Motzei Shabbos like last year, Omer Vayhi Noyam. Koydem Be'ato Kadosh. I say Vayhi Noyam before Be'ato Kadosh.
You know, it's like every Motzi Shabbos, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so, and what happens? You read the Megillah after you finish Shmona Esrei, right?
Yeah.
And it's Kaddish, and then you have V'hinoam and Ata Kadosh, like every other Motzi Shabbos. Okay. Go on, the Ramah.
Hagar, V'armu V'yitin Lecha. We said V'yitin Lecha Motzei Shabbos. V'korin HaMegillah. We read the Megillah. V'achar kach ma'avdilin. Afterwards make Havdalah. And Hagim. Okay.
Okay. So it sounds like he's saying that the Mechaber started off saying first there's Kriyas Megillah and then Takadosh. But the Ramah sounds like he's putting the Megillah after V'yitei Lecha. Okay, so let's see what's going on, and then afterwards Havdalah. Afterwards do Havdalah. Okay, let's see the Mishna Berura.
After Kriyas Megillah. After reading of the Megillah, Ayin b'Magen Avraham. Is you're going to look into the Magen Avraham.
No, it isn't that you're going to. It's an imperative. Ayin, see the Magen Avraham.
See the Magen Avraham. Shem Tzader.
And what's that did?
Shem Tzader. What does Shem Tzader mean?
The word sad means side. And Mitzadeh means that he gives two different possibilities. He has a question between two different possibilities. And he inclines towards one of them. One word translation for the word, then tell me, but I think that's what it means. Whenever you see ayin, by the way, I remember in Mishna Berura Shir with Rav Chaim Zatzal, he would always say, ayin means, ayin, take a look. Take a look. See it on the inside. If you really want to get shot in the Mishna Berura, see it. Kila Mishna Berura Pascha that you have to look. And it's not. If he only meant to bring the Magen Avraham as a proof, he would have just cited it with a letter in the Sha'ar Tzion saying Magen Avraham. But he doesn't do that. He says ayin. He's saying there's a whole discussion there, which if you really want to properly understand what he's saying, you have to do Magen Avraham on the inside. Okay. We're right now we're being Mekatzer, although right now we're being Mekatzer, but that's what I'm saying. But after giving a discussion, and he has a discussion where he describes two sides of the question, so he's Mitzadeh, inclines to one of them, the Acher.
Full Kaddish was Tiskabel.
Yeah, there's a misprint over here. I mean, I'm not used to Mishna Berura with vowels, but there's a misprint in the vowels, and it says Tiskabel instead of Tiskabal. It should be a patach there. You're Sidurim with this mistake. If you're interested in history of Sidurim, I can tell you which.
It should be this.
It should be Tiskabal.
Instead of ale, it should be al.
Okay,
a patach is this.
Yeah, patach. Okay. No, patach is a line.
Is that?
It's a line.
Patach. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I lowered my glasses because right now I'm
no
looking
worries.
close. Anyway, but Okay,
That's
Patach is a line. It's Tiskabal and not Tiskabel. If anybody's interested, I mean, I can't imagine that would interest you right now. I can tell you which siddur this misprint came into effect on, but it's a misprint and it should be Tiskabal. So it says what that means is Tiskabal. So, do you understand, by the way, what Tiskabal means?
It's going to be like
Should be accepted, yeah, accepted.
Okay, but do you understand what Tadish Tiskabal means?
sanctified or exalted.
I'll tell you. I'll tell.
Tefillah should be accepted.
Right. Good. But when do you say Kaddish Tiskabal?
Or
If
after
you've done if you do the davening.
Okay. Kaddish Tiskabal, is after the Shmona Esrei. In other words, whenever you have a Shmona Esrei, this is the primary usage of it. There are secondary usage, which is a derivative. Primary usage of Kaddish Tiskabal. First, everybody understands, we're talking about Kaddish Tiskabal, that's what it's saying, Tiskabal Tzaloi Sahon V'Vosahon. Accept our prayers and our requests. That's always after a Shmona Esrei of a Kaddish Tiskabal, even though you have some sort of gap, because you put some things, you said some other things before them, but it's going back in your Shmona Esrei, because that's the primary part of your tefillah, is Shmona Esrei. Okay? That's clear? Mm-hmm. So, in other words, in the morning you say, you have Shmona Esrei, then you have Kriyas HaTorah, if there's Kriyas HaTorah, and then you have Kedusha Sidra, and then afterwards they Kaddish Tiskabal, but that's going back on the Shmona Esrei that you said. It's not coming to exclude everything you said besides that, but it's going on the Shmona Esrei. And that's where essentially that's where the Shliach Tzibur has his 3 steps backwards. Is in the Kaddish Tiskabal. Okay, sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you have to do that before. You just have to take out Sefer Torah. Okay, but that's what a Kaddish Tiskabal is. So therefore, if it's Shabbos, you have one Kaddish Tiskabal after Shacharis and one Kaddish Tiskabal after Musaf. Okay, and likewise, let's say it's Rosh. If you're saying Hallel, so if you're going to have another Shmona Esrei, then you say Kaddish Tiskabal. Let's see, what do you say Kaddish Tiskabal? If you're going to have another Shmona Esrei, you say Kaddish Tiskabal right after Hallel. Let's say it's Rosh Chodesh, you say Shacharis, then Kaddish Hallel, and then Kaddish Tiskabal. And then you'll have Musaf, and then another Kaddish Tiskabal. But if it's Chanukah, and you're not going to say another Shmona Esrei, so Kaddish Tiskabal is at the end. It's always going on a Shmona Esrei. That's the general rule. It's going on a Shmona Esrei, but it's delayed in order to include other things which are said afterwards. In a derivative sense, we say it after Slichus. When we say Slichus during Elul.
So now we say also Slichus.
Okay, so then we won't be saying Slichus by themselves. That'll be part of. It'll be like a long Tachanun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but if you're saying Slichus by itself, like you do in Elul, so the end of Slichus, what? The end of Slichus is like, the end of Slichus you have Nefilas Apayim, and then you have a Kaddish Tiskabal, because there's a sense in which the Slichus, the format of the Slichus is modeled after the format of a regular tefillah, of a full tefillah. But that's in a derivative sense. Okay, but that's what a Kaddish Tiskabal is. So you always have to have a Kaddish Tiskabal, but only once. You can only have one Kaddish Tiskabal. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So, the Shaila is, when do you do it? When do you do the Kaddish Tiskabal? That's apparently the Magen Avram's question here, and he's mitzaded that after the Shmona Esrei is Kaddish Shalem with Tiskabal. That means before you get to the Yakar Kadosh and Kriyas Megillah. Okay. V'chein Kasav Eliyah Rabbah. Is that clear? Is that clear? I mean, I'm translating the words, but sometimes it's more than just a translation. In other words, you have to understand mitzaded. Yeah, words mean more than words; they have connotations.
V'chein Kasav Eliyah Rabbah. So to the Eliyah Rabbah writes.
Yeah. Okay.
After Amiras ve'Atar Kadosh, after saying Atar Kadosh, Omrim Acha Kriyas Megillah. ותישא אותו כוס המגילה, יאמר קדש שלם, לא תסקבל,
Tiskabal again.
לא
obviously.
תסקבל. You say full kosher al teskabel.
Without Tiskabal. Now why without Tiskabal? Because of what I just said before. In other words, you can't say Tiskabal twice. And you've already said it after your Shemona Esrei, before you read the Megillah, okay? You can already figure out from what he said that what was the other side of his question. He said maybe you should delay the Kaddish Tiskabal till after the Kriyas of Megillah and Atah Kadosh. Okay? Now the shaila is, you're only going to say Kaddish Tiskabal once. When do you do it? Do you do it right after Shemona Esrei, or do you do it after Kriyas of Megillah and Atah Kadosh? Okay? That's clear?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. In other words, because it's primarily going on the Shemona Esrei, but once you're saying it on the Shemona Esrei, then you want everything else to be included. Okay, Ve'eli Rabba.
Rabbi Kosav, Rabbi writes, the Yochel Gamken Loma Teskabel. You're also able to say Teskabel.
So he says you can say Tiskabal twice.
V'yachzor Teskabel al Tfilah D'Beseder Kedusha. I want to go back.
And the Tiskabal is going on the Tefillah, which is in the Kedusha Sidra. In other words, when you said Atah Kadosh, he says he holds there's enough Tefillah in that you're justified in saying Tiskabal twice. Okay?
Yeah.
That's his Kiddush, okay? So therefore he's saying, now you understand, there's a kasha both ways. According to the Magen Avraham, you understand Kaddish Shalem without a Tiskabel at the end of davening, which is something, where do you have such a Kaddish normally? Kaddish without a Tiskabel. But that's the Kiddush of the Magen Avraham. That's what you say there. So the Rabbi said, he said, no, you say Kaddish Tiskabel twice. Okay? Is it clear so far? B'shachris Yomar Katzi Kaddish.
Shachris Yom HaChatzi Kaddish Acha Shmona Esrei. Shachris, you say Chatzi Kaddish after Shmona Esrei. Acha Seder Kedusha. After the Seder of Kedusha, Kaddish Shalom and Teskabel. What does it mean, Acha Seder Kedusha?
Seder Kedusha is what I called Kedusha de Sidra. Same thing. It's obviously Seder Kedusha is Hebrew, Kedusha de Sidra is Aramaic, but you can hear it's the same thing. It means Vatah Kadosh. Because Vatah Kadosh has included in it Kadosh, 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 and Baruch Kvod Hashem, and so that's what he's called Seder Kedusha. So we say that every day, right?
Yeah.
So he's saying that in Shacharis, after Shemona Esrei, you say a Chatzi Kaddish, and then after Kedusha Sidra, you say a full Kaddish with Tiskabel, which, of course, that sounds like every day. I mean, it might be okay. That clear?
Yeah, just eat the box, right? Someone else to take over?
What?
Somebody else want to take over?
Yeah, okay, fine. Then maybe say go quickly. No.
Won't be long.
Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay. Next, Mr. Berura Omer. Who wants to read? You want to read?
Okay. מי ייתן לך במוצאי שבת, הבדלה. That in the meaning that says ייתן לך במוצאי שבת. Not all minions do it.
Yeah. I
Some
mean,
do, some don't. I don't know why.
All minions do what?
If they say the tefillah right after davening, they say v'yiten lecha, v'yital shamayim. Motzei Shabbos. It's like a special tefillah.
I mean, if I remember correctly, the Ramah brings the Motzei Shabbos, so you're supposed to say it. The only thing is that even the place where they say it too quickly, so it's very difficult to...
Yeah, I don't understand everything either.
Yeah, I usually get about halfway through Really. I mean, I don't understand.
Me too.
I don't understand why it's so they say it so quickly. It's not Tachanan.
I daven the Slovenia.
Yeah. Why did they say that? I don't know why. I don't know.
It's written in the Siddur, right in the Chag. After
Right. In other words, the Rama brings it. You're supposed to say it, but yeah, I mean, it goes together. You know.
Moshe Shabbos, it's
Prayers after Marv.
Yeah. In other words, there's the minig is that you say before in Otz Shabbos, the David Hashem Baruch Tzurei, and then Lamnatzeach Bendinas Bizmor Shir. Elokim is Chanim B'Korach. That's the I think that's the old minhag. And for some reason, people are makatzer and they don't say it, and then they leave out V'yitain Lecha. But even when they say V'yitain Lecha, they say it too quickly, so they're not saying, I can't explain that. Okay, but he says that. So the Ramah says, "Va'omrim V'yitain Lecha v'korin Megillah v'achar Katzman Abdillah." Okay, so the Mishna Berura says, "Va'omrim V'yitain Lecha b'motzei Shabbos." Talking about Motzei Shabbos, achar Havdalah. He's saying Kiddush, first you say Havdalah, and he's just slipping that in. He brings a pretty good as a source of that. He says, Havdalah he achar Seder Kedusha, kamo b'shari Moshe Shana, u'masha kosa b'kar Megillah, hu inyan b'fnei atzmo. Okay, so you say, so. Okay, but I mean, L'chora means that you have Havdalah the basic Knesset. But this is something. Let me look at this again. I want to be more ma'ayin in this.
What does achar mean?
After. So he's saying that after. He's saying that after Seder Kedusha, you do Havdalah in the shul, Chara, and then you say V'yitain Lecha, and then when it says and reading the Megillah, it's an I need to see. I need to look at this. Jump at me tomorrow.
okay.
Jump at me tomorrow. I don't want to say something. I don't want to say something wrong. I realize I have a question. And the Ramah says, "Va'achar Katzman Abdillah." And afterwards we say Havdalah. Here he's saying on the Ramah that we say Havdalah last. You always have a question, when you have different things coming up, which do you do first? All right, that's a general question.
Usually here or there, we don't do Havdalah, they take this. But when I was living in Bali Dimi many years ago, they did do Havdalah in the shul.
If you daven in yeshiva, they'll do it because the yeshiva needs to do it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it otherwise.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it otherwise, but there's a general rule, for example, tadir ve'enu tadir kodim, something which is more common, something that's less common. What's more common comes first. And the clearer that's going when you're going to do both of them. There are two questions of Kadima. Kadima means precedence. Okay, yeah? One is a question of which gives precedence if you're going to do both. And one is a question of which gets precedence if the one which you do first is going to push off what you're not the one you're not going to do. You understand the difference? That's clear? And the rule of tadir kodim is going on when you're going to do both, and the tadir then will be first. So that's the general rule, but here he's saying a different rule to make Havdalah last, even though Havdalah is L'chara, is at first glance the Tadir, more common. And he's saying as far the Kol Ma Sheyesh L'Acheres Havdalah B'Yitzis Hayom Achrim. Because however much we can delay the Havdalah, in the end of the day, we delay it. Okay. In other words, the idea of keeping Shabbos as long as you can. So, therefore, you delay Havdalah as much as you can. And that's the Mishna Berura's Hakra, and he brings in the Sharat Tziyun, that's like the Gra, and that's the Minig Bayos, and to exclude the Minig of those who hold that we make Havdalah earlier, and like the Pri Megadim, that's what he brings here, and they would be holding Tadir Kodem because Havdalah is more frequent. Okay. Let's go on.
Yeah.
Omer Alanisim B'Layla V'Yom. One says Alanisim at nighttime and day. Okay, the Ramah rings. Vim Lo Amaro Ein Maxir. So if a person didn't say it, they don't make him go back. Okay, it's not. I mean, like Yalav Yav on a Yom Tov, where if you didn't say it, you'd have to daven Shemona Esrei all over again. But if you didn't say Alanisim, you missed your chance, and you don't get another chance. Ve'ein omrim alanisim rak b'yom yudalid avalo b'tezvav. You don't say alanisim on. You only say alanisim on yudalid and not on tezvav. He's obviously going on people for whom that's the yontiv. And memela for people who are keeping tezvav, then you'd only say in tezvav and not in yudalid. You understand? Even if you're keeping your dalit or tezvav, there are things.
Both days, you say.
What?
People that keeps both days.
Okay, I'm not getting involved in that. I meant to say that even if you're keeping your dalit, but there are certain things of tezvav, and like you're keeping tezvav, you're keeping your dalit. Like you're not going to say tachan on your dalit, even if you're keeping tezvav.
Right. Vice versa.
And vice versa. In other words, there's certain things. I mean, so it's a simcha in Klal Yisrael, and there's certain things you do, but you don't say Alanisim because it's Purim if you're keeping Shushan Purim, and likewise reverse.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the, and it says in parentheses base Yosef name Orchos Chaim and Hagim. B'leil Yudalid Afal Pishalo Karoa Megillah Dayin Omer Alanisim B'Tfilas Arvis. And the night of 14th. Even though one hasn't yet read the Megillah, one says Alanisim in Arvis. I mean, this maybe is not a chiddush that you say. He just said you say day and night, but he's saying it's interesting that you haven't yet read the Megillah.
So it's not officially Purim.
I don't know. What does that mean? I don't say it's not a
That means it's Purim. When you read the Megillah, that means it's Purim. That's for sure Purim.
I'm not sure. I would more be inclined to say like this, that after you've read the Megillah, then you could say, and Alanisim, Hanisim, the miracles, like what we just read about in the Megillah.
Right.
So then you can have the intention. What do you mean Al Hanisim? I mean the miracles that you just heard about in the Megillah, but you haven't read the Megillah yet. So how can you say something without having mentioned what you're going on? It's like lacking antecedent. Yeah. So that's more the way in which I would say it. He's saying that he started post-based in the Mechaber. You say Al Hanisim the night and the day. But if you didn't say Al Nisim, you don't go back. You only say Al Nisim either on you only say Al Nisim either on Yudalid or Tezvav, but not on both. And if you're a suffix for both days, that's a different question. And the night of Yudalid, even though you haven't read the Megillah, you still say Al Nisim and Arvis. Shemona Esrei. Okay. And the Mishna Berura? Okay. You see how it's valid?
Yeah.
Belila, you say it. So what's the kiddush? You say it at night time. So the verb brings Belila afilu v'hiktim hispal arvis kodim tzeisa kochavim. Even if a person daven marv before tzeisa kochavim. In other words, you might have thought that it's not yet fully Purim until tzeisa kochavim, but nonetheless you say al nisim. L'chora, you should be able to daven even from Plaga Mincha.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, I'm sorry.
Please, come on in.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Things to attend to.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it, Jim?
Yes, Jeff.
Who can't that?
I didn't see him, sorry.
Who can't that?
Oh, we just want to thank you.
What was that?
Afrikaans.
How's it going?
So we're holding Mishna Berura in Hilchos Purim.
Tafresh Tzadik Gimel.
Okay.
The end.
Correct, City King. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I'm a reverse substitute. And, okay. Yeah.
Tafresh Tzadik Gimel.
So,
Thank you.
and then in Oshei, we're talking about how you have to say Al Nisim in Purim. Okay. But if a person didn't say Al Nisim, Ein Machzir no so the Bishop Berura Oshei. Ayin Le'el B'Siman Tafresh Pei Beis Siv Aleph.
Kafresh, not Kufresh.
Tafresh.
Tafresh.
It's
Tafresh Pei
sorry.
Beis. Okay.
Sorry.
Tafresh Pei Beis.
Tafresh Tzadik Gimel. Tzadik Gimel.
You want to trade? Let me trade with you.
Thank you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Sorry, I should have said something earlier. My mouth was full. Excuse me.
Well, okay, not from good stuff, I'm sure you picked it.
Okay. So there he's talking about. There he's talking about if you didn't say Al Nisim and Hanukkah, and he's saying if you didn't, and there the Shulchan Aruch spoke more at length. He says, "V'im lo amar ein machzir no." So, but if you didn't say Al Nisim, you don't go back. You don't make a person go back. Right? Okay. Umiu im nizkar ba'osa bracha kol zman shelo hiskir Hashem afilu nizkar bein atah lahashem chozer. Okay, and then, but they were saying, if you remembered Al Nisim in the middle of the bracha, okay.
Yes.
Because what do you say? You're saying Al Nisim and Moedim.
Yeah.
In other words, then you say Val Kulam Yisparach, right? And then, if you remember in the middle of the bracha before you said the name, then you do go back.
Back to the beginning of the bracha.
You go back to the beginning of the bracha to Shmon Esrei. That I have, that I have to go looking at the Katzman in detail. But in other words, if you want, I'll do it. As if you want, we can go and learn this simon in the inside. I'm here to teach, and But he's saying, in other words, that right now the Mishna Berura is citing that the details of this halacha of having to go back for Purim are like Hanukkah.
Right.
Now here he just said, in general, if you forgot it and you finished your Shemona Esrei, then you don't go back. But what happens if you remember it in your middle of the Shemona Esrei?
Before Hashem.
Before Hashem, then you go back. I think you just go back to where you should have said Al Nisim. I don't think you go back to that. But that's what I remember.
Right.
But I'm not. If you want, we can go through this halacha in detail. But there are different questions. And if you've said Hashem, I think there's a question whether you can say Lamdeinu Chukecha and then go back to before. Then go back. Okay, those are all those. There are different details, and the details which apply to Hanukkah apply here. This is different from, let's say, Ya'aleh V'Yavo on Yom Tov, where if you forgot it, you have to go back, and even if you finished your davening, you're going to have to say another Shemona Esrei. Let's say it's Chol HaMoed.
Yes, yes.
It's Chol HaMoed. You left out Ya'aleh V'Yavo, or if it's Rosh Chodesh by day and you left out Ya'aleh V'Yavo, you have to go back. You have to daven a new Shemona Esrei from scratch if you finish your Shemona Esrei. But here it's not like that. If you finish your Shemona Esrei, you don't go back. And that's the Shulchan Aruch, and the Mishnah Berura just says the details of what happens if you remembered in the middle of Shemona Esrei. Let's say here are like Hanukkah, and it's telling you where to look. And
That's good.
okay, that's
Yes, sir. We were right up here.
so. And then the Mishnah Berura says Ayin le'el b'simon tarpab.
We're in the Mishna
If
Berura
Aleph.
where, Rabbi?
Okay, we're right now Oshei.
In the Mishna Berura?
Yeah. Ein Maksirun, so Ayin le'el, see above, in Simon Tov Reish Pei Beis, Sif Aleph, that's where it says what happened.
I'm sorry, I still can't find you.
Top line,
Top Achar,
An inside column.
inside column.
the left column, the second column.
Ein Machazirim?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ayin le'el, see above, Simon Tov Reish Pei Beis, Sif Aleph,
Yeah.
V'huadim ba'inyanim, it's likewise in our case.
Yes.
Okay. In other words, Hanukkah and Purim are the same.
Yeah.
So he's saying the Shulchan Aruch was abbreviated here, and to get the details, and you have to see there. Ule'inyan ala nisim b'birkas hamazon, ayin l'kaman b'simin tavreish tzaddik chesiv gimel. In other words, we say ala nisim in birkas hamazon, and it's the same question. If you finished your birkas hamazon, you don't go back. And if you finish the bracha, you don't go back. And if you remember in the middle of the bracha, you do go back. And if you've said the name, that's the same question. Okay, yeah? Any questions?
Yes. Listen. The reason, he's given a sort of conceptuality that in a Hanukkah Purim, you don't go back, and Chol HaMoed, and what's that Rosh Chodesh you do? Is Rosh Chodesh are Zoraisa actually, and Hanukkah Purim are the Rabbanan? Is that the reason? You don't go back and one do I'm missing the point.
I think I'm not sure, but I suspect it's more connected with the fact of sacrifices. There are no, in other words,
But so the Korbanos are Zoraisa, you know?
in other words, there are korbanos for Yom Tov.
Yes.
There are korbanos for Shabbos, and there are korbanos for Rosh Chodesh.
Aha.
So I think it's
Of course.
Purim.
Yes.
That's why when people say on Hanukkah or Purim, I've heard non-religious people say Chag Sameach, but properly, what does a Chag mean? Chag means an opportunity to bring a Chagiga.
Oh, really?
I mean, they go together. In other words, you don't bring a Chagiga on Hanukkah.
You should say Sameach.
So can you say Hanukkah Sameach?
Yeah, exactly, Hanukkah Sameach.
Okay.
And you could say good Yom Tov, because Yom Tov, it says so, but Paris in the
Does it?
Megillah. Yom
Ah,
Tov.
yeah, Enoch Nami.
So you could say good Yom Tov.
Good, Enoch Nami.
The Yom Tov and Purim, Hanukkah, mean Purim and Yom Kippurim, then we don't say Hanukkah.
Okay. What's the getter of? What's the getter of? I mean, we have 3 regalim. Now, Hanukkah, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippurim are in some ways like a regal, in some ways not like a regal, and that's also. But this, I mean, there's a difference between what's going on. In other words, there's no. I mean, it could be, there's no bittul malacha on Purim and Hanukkah. Maybe there's an idea that you're not going to go to work because you're going to have, but it's a different getter.
Yes. Look, so don't get back to Chag or not Chag. Look, I'm so correct what you said. Rosh Chodesh is a Chag, according to what you said. He's been a Chagiga.
Well, you don't bring a chagiga on Rosh Chodesh.
Oh, but then.
There are korbanos.
Okay.
There are korbanos. That's why you say musaf.
Okay, yeah, no, I see.
Right, there are korbanos. So the question is, what is everything dependent on? You have to understand there are different levels of when you I mean,
No, there's no Musaf.
some of these things are expressed. The Gemara talks about how many aliyahs do you have in Kriyas Torah? How many aliyahs do we have in Shabbos?
7.
How many do we have in Yom Tov?
5.
6. No.
5.
5.
Yom Kippur we have 6.
Yom Kippur. Okay. And Rosh Chodesh,
4.
right? And how many do we have on Purim?
3.
Right?
I mean, the differences going on. Yeah, I mean,
Yom-
there.
and
You have
Chag
to.
also.
I mean, I can't give you. I can't give you a big picture of what the differences are, but you have. But the general idea is that there are differences in the level of.
Yeah, I think it's clear from what
Yeah,
you said.
yeah.
I mean, the Korbanos, they call them Machagonot, and you just have a Musaf. Musaf connect with Korbanos. You don't have a Musaf on Hanukkah or Purim, or you know. just
And
like you
on
said.
Yom Tov you have Bittul Malacha. No, you don't do Malacha, but it's not the same as Shabbos. You can still do Ochel
Yeah,
Nefesh, right?
yes, that's another
And on Chol HaMoed you have less Malacha, but you can do more.
yes.
I mean, there are different levels of Kedusha,
Yes.
and without being able to give you some sort of general picture, but I'm giving you examples of different halachas which reflect the general picture, in order that if you see the reflection of the general picture in different directions, then maybe you can
Might
get
recognize it.
you can get sort of taste of what the difference between them. I can't give you. I don't have a big picture, but I'm giving you how the big picture is reflected in different angles, in order that you can see how the differences between different
But I think you
holidays.
said something wrong. It's all about the Korban Musaf, you know.
Yeah, okay, but it's not only
Focus on
about it's only about the
For
Korban
the
Musaf.
question why you repeat or why you don't repeat.
Yeah, it's the that. Okay, I'd have to go through the Gemara right now, and I just don't have a good answer for you. But at least if I don't have a good answer, at least I hope I'm giving you something at least secondary.
I
that-
disagree. I think you have a good answer.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. No,
Insist.
fine. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, say.